Welcome to another episode, you guys. I am super excited to be here. It's Friday, January 10th, and we're moving into the early evening. And I wanted to go live here and connect with you because there's a message that's coming through for someone that needs to hear it. And I've been getting a lot of signs and synchronicities around this for a while. Actually, this has been a common reoccurring synchronicity and theme. And it's going to resonate with someone who's listening to this. And the message is that you are meant to be seen. You are meant to be heard. You are meant to be known globally. You are meant to have a worldwide audience. You are meant to be known for your gift. So this is like star quality. Like you are meant to be seen. You are meant to be heard. I don't know what you guys are creating out there, whether it's music, whether it's art, whether it's poetry, whether it's products, or I don't know what it is. It could be anything. Like this is your divine creation. I'm just here as a messenger to say that there are going to be some opportunities coming into your experience that may require you to take a leap of faith on yourself and be brave and trust in the knowing that it's right for you to move forward in that direction. And that choice is going to align you more with your dharma. And this is going to come out of the blue for many. It's going to be unexpected. It's going to be something that you weren't able to plan for. It's going to be something divinely orchestrated and divinely guided. And it potentially can come through some form of partnership, some form of, whether that be a relationship or a business partnership. Take it how it resonates. You actually won't know. You're not meant to know. And that's the message that was coming through today so strongly, is that you're not meant to know. Like you're not meant to understand it. You're not meant to see it like coming. It's going to surprise you. It's going to be something that aligns you with your dharma and your blueprint, like out of the blue. Simply, like, this is divinely orchestrated. Like I'm hearing that this is something that's part of your destiny. And I know for a lot of you that resonate with this path, like many of you are really stepping into your divine creatrix energy, right? Like this is another episode I did before, and you're about to be recognized for it. Your message is meant to be heard by the masses. I mean, this could be anything. Your message, your voice, your art is meant to be heard by the masses. One of the things that kept coming up before I went live, and this has been coming up for days, and it was like this little instant reminder of a program that I launched like years ago, one of my first programs for spiritual entrepreneurs, and it was called Go Global Baby. And it's that literally, like the minute I put in Go Global Baby, there was instant light workers, spiritual yogis, like resonating with this. And the reason why is because you are meant to go global. You are meant to be seen and heard on a worldwide level. That could be anything. Like I said, podcast, art, like it's beyond figure outable, right? This is going to be something that takes you by surprise, but the knowing you can trust, and you've always known this. So I'm speaking with possibly a selective few. Maybe it could just be one person, or it could be a big wave of the collective. You let me know if this is resonating with you in the comments. But there is a knowing that from a very early age, from a very young age, you were meant to be seen, to be heard. You were meant to share your message or your gift with the world in some way. And you didn't even necessarily understand what that meant. You just knew it. And this is the message that's coming through. It's okay to trust that knowing. Like you're being guided and asked just to trust that knowing. Like, to be honest, you are the knowing. That's like, you're so in, like you are one with the knowing. The knowing is just there. You can't figure it out. It's just a knowing. And there's just so many signs and synchronicities around this. And it's actually been happening for years. And I know so many spiritual way showers, light workers, teachers, and healers that are attracted to my messages, are part of the same wave and collective that have incarnated here during this time of ascension in order to make big waves with their own unique message and gift, however that looks for you. You came here with an intention and agreement on a soul level to make a big impact. You are very impact driven. You are very mission driven. You are very, heart centered. And the universe is about to surprise you because you've been putting in, whoever I'm speaking to, you've been putting in a lot of, let's call it sweat equity, so to speak, with your mission. So you may have been helping others in some way for a long time, years, decades, even, maybe even your whole life in some way, shape, or form, showing up and being of service. Like, you would do this even if, this is the other thing that's coming through, you would do this regardless of whether you're getting compensated for it or not. Like, yes, divine compensation comes into play, but you would do this regardless of whether you get compensated for it or not. So check in with that. Like, this is your art. This is your passion. This is what lights you up. This brings you joy. This is fun. Like, I'm getting full body chills right now. This is resonating hopefully with someone. If this is you, let me know in the comments. But whatever it is that you're about to be noticed for is something that you would do, and or you have been doing, you likely already have been doing in some way, shape, or form without even being compensated for it. And that's because it's part of you. It's like an extension of your divinity. Creative flow is an extension of your divinity. When you are in your divine creative flow, you are in union, dancing with the divine. You are allowing and receiving, right? The feminine, you are receiving the intuitive hits and the inspiration and the divine guidance. You are the channel. And then you are creating with your sacred masculine energy from this. This is inner union. You are so aligned and so in union with the divine and with yourself, both your human self and your higher self, when you are in your creative flow. And so whatever this is brings you joy. It's part of your creative expression. It's part of your divinity in human form. Like, it's part of you fully embodying your divinity, whatever this creative art or medicine is that wants to be birthed through you. And you're meant to be sharing it on a global scale. You're meant to be known worldwide for it. And that may sound scary to some people, and it may sound totally doable to some people. So I don't want to project that onto you, but I am going to share that right now we live in an age where literally you can make an impact through an app on your phone. Your phone, for example, even is like a portal to billions of people. Like, in an instant, you can be in front of hundreds of thousands, or if not millions of people. There's so many opportunities and so many creative ways that you can get your message in front of whoever's meant to hear it, and is going to be divinely orchestrating something for whoever's resonating with this. You're going to be divinely guided, and something's going to be divinely orchestrated that literally makes this a reality. Like, it's something that you've known for a long time and you don't know how you know it. That's the whole point. It's an intuitive knowing. It's a heart-centered knowing. It's not something that you even could wrap your head around or figure out. It's not even something maybe that you took seriously. It's just something that you've known, that there's something inside you that is meant to be seen or heard, that you're meant to be a walking, talking catalyst, or you're meant to be a walking, talking disruptor, or you're meant to be a walking, talking, activator, or you're meant to be a walking, talking, inspiration for others, like whatever the case may be. I've worked with so many spiritual entrepreneurs that, have passions to speak and to write books and to start podcasts and to do all of these things, and artists and singers and actresses and all the things. And through their unique art, they are making an impact on a global, worldwide stage, on a global scale. And that is what is meant for you. If you are listening to this, you are meant to be seen, you're meant to be heard, you're meant to go global, you're meant to be known worldwide. So you are the star. You are the star of your show, and you are the star in your reality. And it's time to start owning that. That's the other thing that was coming through. Where you're giving your power away and putting yourself in the back seat as if other things are more, other people or other places or other things are more important in your story. Like, This is about you coming back home to yourself and realizing that the world is a projection and you are creating this and you are the star of your show. And it's okay to own that. You didn't come here to play small. You didn't come here to hide. You're not meant to be a wallflower in this lifetime. You're meant to shine your light brightly and impact the masses with your gift. I know that sounds bold, but that's who I'm here to activate. So I know it's resonating with someone that's going to find this, because you're meant to be bold. You're meant to help the masses in whatever way that you're meant to ascend, awaken, heal, transmute, alchemize, like step into their power, like whatever it is, be inspired. Like your art is medicine. Your unique message is medicine for New Earth. And it's not meant to be kept a secret anymore. You are the star of your own show. You are, and this is not coming from an egoic place. Like whoever I'm speaking to is a humble leader. Humble in the fact that you know that all of this is divine orchestration, that none of it would be possible without, you know, your co-creative, you're co-creating this, and all of this has been graced by God. Like you haven't, like, you know this. I'm not speaking to someone right now that thinks that this is their doing. Like you are a vehicle and a vessel. You have surrendered and humbly surrendered to the divine calling of your life. And it's about to catapult you into something that's like mind blowing. Yesterday's episode, I used Eckhart Tolle as an example when he was sitting on a park bench for 3 years, just kind of doing nothing, and then had this divine discontent within him that something he could be doing more, something more. And he just had this intention that he set with the universe, with life, with God, with himself, because he's one with all of it. And he was living from presence. He's living from presence. And he had that divine discontent that was arising within him, and he acknowledged it and set the intention that maybe there was something he could do more, and he was ready to do more. And before you know it, life reorchestrated, and he had the impulse to move to the United States on the West Coast. And next thing you know, long story short, he ends up on Oprah and blah, blah, blah. I know there's a lot of steps in between there, but it's all divinely guided. And he took the divine action, not even knowing what was going to come of it. He didn't know what was going to happen. He didn't know why he was even moving to the United States. He didn't even know he was supposed to write a book at that time or anything like that. So it was started with an intention. It started with the calling from within. For him to even, be a co-creator and say that he's ready for more, or that he could be doing something more than what he was doing now, which was sitting on a park bench every day for 3 years, being in presence and blissed out. There was some other contribution he could be making. And with that, God decided to use him as a channel and a vessel. Now, whether this is free will, whether this is his, divine blueprint, whether this was all destiny, whether it's already planned out in the stars, or whether we have the ability to, it's a combination of everything. Like, who knows? It's yes, do we have free will? And yes, do we have divine destiny? Yes, yes, and yes. Yeah. But we don't even need to get hung up on that. What we need to focus on is, what are you being called to create? Where are you being called to shine? And basically that just means following your heart. Where are you really lit up? What do you feel called to share? What would you be doing anyways, regardless, because it brings you joy, because it's an extension of your divinity. It's an extension of your creativity. And when you are creating, you are in divine flow with the creator. You are creation. When you're creating, you are in harmony with the feminine and masculine coming together. If you're creating from heart-centeredness, if you're creating from what is inspired from within, right? It really lights you up and it brings you joy. This is your divine creation. This is your divine feminine flow. This is you being one with the God essence that wants to be channeled through you. So the message here today is like yesterday's message, is piggybacking on that, where there's no more hiding. The reason these messages are coming out is because whoever's listening to this, who's ever resonating with these live streams that I'm speaking to, you are meant to be seen and heard and known and making an impact with whatever it is that you're called to do. And the good news is you don't have to figure it out. It's all going to be happening, and you are following the guidance, right? If there was anything to do, you could become aware with awareness where you are resisting the flow, where you resisting the knowing, because you already know. The person that I'm speaking with knows this on a soul level from a very early age, that you were meant to do something big. And that right there is the soul contract that you incarnated with, that you are now actualizing at this time. There is a lot of light codes, a lot of light coming in, activating codes within, that is bringing even more of your gifts online, even more wisdom to your awareness. And you were meant to be channeling this in whatever way, shape, or form this resonates with you. So imposter syndrome is out, hiding is out, procrastination is out, stalling is out. Whoever I am talking to, it's time to go global. It's time to go big. It's time to hit record. It's time to start the thing. It's time to write the thing. It's time to create the thing, whatever the thing is for you. And you don't have to know anything else about it. Everything else is being taken care of. You just have to show up and do your part. You have to be a devotee to your divine mission, to your divine blueprint. That's all God asks. That's all the divine asks, is that you show up for you, that you show up and play your part, that you show up and play the role that you agreed to in this divine play that we call life, that we call this earthly experience, rather. So we all have a role here to play. And whoever I'm speaking with right now, there's no more hiding, procrastination, stalling. You're meant to be sharing your gift with the world. And the thing that's been coming through a lot is just that there's going to be something that's unexpected, that's coming in, that's going to be really, really good for you, in the sense that it's going to align you with your passions and your purpose, and set you on a timeline where you really get to self-actualize your highest divine timeline, and actualize the impact that you're here to make. And it may be causing fear, it may be causing discomfort, it may be causing imposter syndrome, you may doubt it, you may be completely shocked. But I'm not here to really share I can't help it. Things come through that are like prophecies, or like, I get visions and messages of things that are happening, and in my own life too, before they do. And so I'm not here to project. And of course, whatever free will we do have, that's, you have. And so take this as a grain of salt. None of anything is ever written in stone. Only if it resonates with you, which you will already know, then take this if it resonates with you. If it doesn't, then leave it. But whoever's meant to hear this message, you're meant for big things. And you can trust that knowing. You've known it your whole life. You've known it your whole life. That's why you've never been able to settle. That's why you've always charted your own path. That's why you've been on a path that has always been uniquely yours anyways, right? Like that's why you've been the lone wolf or the black sheep. Like you've never meant to fit in. You've always been carving your own way. And this new earth timeline that we're moving into is just going to accentuate that in the best possible way, when you fully own what it is that lights you up, that brings you joy, that you would do regardless, because it's an extension of your divinity, and it's easy and it's fun, and it's something that in your heart you're meant to be doing. You don't have to force yourself to do this. It's something that you're natural for. It's something that you're natural for. So whatever that is, there's cooperative collaborations or partnerships. That's a big thing that's been coming up in my awareness, and all the signs and syncs and everything. There's a lot of cooperative partnerships or relationships or opportunities that are getting organized in the behind the scenes, so to speak, that you not even aware of. And simply by you being authentic, this is your most magnetic self. This is the only thing, if there was a requirement, this is the only requirement, and that is that you are you. And the good news is you can't not be you. You are already you. It's the easiest thing to be. The only thing you could possibly look at is where you are still hiding from yourself, or running away from yourself, or wearing a mask, or people pleasing, or compromising your values in some way, or not showing up for yourself and being inauthentic. Because all of this hinges on just you showing up, being authentically you. You are going to manifest in your life that you would just get abundantly paid, compensated, supported, loved, guided, protected by you showing up and being your big, bold, unapologetic self, magnetically creating whatever it is that you get to create in the world that's unique to you. And you literally are creating this right now. So if you've been doubting yourself, maybe you've been creating art in the corner of your living room or something and thinking no one's ever going to see it, like, or maybe you've been writing poetry and you keep it in your journal. It's time to follow the nudges. I can't know what that is for you. I'm just here to activate you so that you can trust and know that your guidance is real and that you don't need to know. The knowing is enough. The knowing that this is magical, whatever is being created through you. So maybe you're one client's coming to mind. Maybe you're meant to share your poetry online somewhere. Maybe it's meant to be published in a book or online or an ebook or something. Maybe, like, I don't know, there could be a million different ways, right? But whatever it is, it's meant to be seen. It's meant to be heard. It's not meant to be tucked in your journal. It's not meant to be just an idea that you put on your vision board and then never take action on. So life shows up and supports you and your dreams and your purpose and your highest divine timeline, and supports you in your dharma work when you show up for yourself and when you show up for your dharma and you are completely devoted to your calling and what you know in your heart to be true. When you show up with a level of devotion is probably like my favorite word for this, because it doesn't feel like an obligation. It doesn't feel like a response. It is a responsibility. I'm not going to lie. It is a responsibility to show up in your superpowers and be able to hold the space for everything that comes as a byproduct of that, which is more expansion, right? And so there is a responsibility for that, because you'll be making a bigger impact. You'll maybe add employees to your company. You'll have more financial abundance pouring in. Like, all of this requires more responsibility and discernment. And so there is a level of responsibility, but it doesn't feel like an obligation, right? Like, this is a devotion. This is an answering the call. It's a combination of like devotion and surrendering, because your ego really gets moved out of the way, and then you shine in your light, and that may actually get you out of hiding, get you out of hermit mode, get you out of resistance, right? And get you out in front of the people that you're here to serve or share with. And so this can look like a lot of different things for people, but the thing that's coming through right now is that you're not meant to be a secret, and you're meant to go global and be known worldwide for your gift. You're meant to impact millions. And I know that sounds bold, and it's actually, when you factor in the course of your life, even just, let's just break this down to reality for a second, just 3D reality. Let's say hypothetically you started a podcast, and you had a podcast where you did a few episodes or something like that every week, and you just did that as part of your passion because you love doing it. Like, this is all based on the fact that you're feeling called, you love it, it lights you up, you would be doing it no matter what. Like, that's how you know you've really tapped into your purpose. Is it's not an obligation, it's a true passion and a calling. But even over the course of your lifetime, the compound effect of you sharing your message with the world through a simple podcast, as just one example, the people that listen to that podcast and then they improve their life from that podcast, or they share that podcast, or they move, now they operate in their family or their work environment in a different way because of the message that they received, because of the activation they received, because of the thoughts or the aha moments they had from your podcast, ripples out into the world, and then they affect other people as a byproduct of that. And then you multiply that over the course of 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. Let's say you have a podcast, like, you are already exponentially reaching millions of people. So don't get overwhelmed by the thought that in order for you to make a global impact and to be known worldwide, this is true. And it can be very simply done when you were just showing up in your power and getting out of your way, because you will be guided to the best strategy, or the partnership, or the opportunity, or the relationship, or the platform, or wherever, where you are invited to speak, for example, or something like that. Whatever it is, I know I speak to a lot of messengers, such as myself. So if you get activated by my messages, it's likely because we have similar missions. You are a truth teller, you are a way shower, and you are a messenger. And I know I speak to a lot of you through these videos for years, through podcasts and videos and trainings and all the things, because you are meant to be sharing your message with a global audience, whatever that means for you. Your message, your art, your medicine, all of that is embedded with your frequency and your purity of heart and your intention. It's a true heart-centered creation. And God wants nothing more than to push that out. This just reminds me, it just brought up something that I need to share that kind of ties into this. And I think it's one of Gabrielle Bernstein's books. I'm getting full body chills right now because I just got this title in my mind's eye, and it was God is My Publisher. So I think that was either the name of her book or one of her programs, the God is My Publisher. And this is how you have to think about it. This is how you have to think about it. God is your publisher. God is your financier. God is your venture capitalist. God, I love this one. God is your angel investor. God is your algorithm. God is your marketing, right? Like, you are being divinely guided, and you'll be guided to the right people, places, and things to invest your time, to invest your money, to invest your whatever, in order to come into alignment with your mission, because everybody has their unique gifts and we're all working together, right? So when it comes time, you don't have to figure out all of the nitty-gritty details. God will arrange it all the way it's meant to. You just have to take the next step and stay in your zone of genius and your lane, which is trusting in the knowing in your heart and taking the guidance accordingly, which is that sacred masculine action that is rooted in your authentic, divine inspiration, your feminine flow. When those two things are married in union, because they're feminine and masculine are always two sides of the same coin, but it becomes distorted when the feminine is reaching outside of herself, thinking she needs X, Y, or Z to happen. And so she's coming from a place of lack. So then the masculine energy comes and takes action based on that void that the inner feminine is feeling, and starts taking action in order to fill some void, right? To overcompensate for some feeling of lack or scarcity or something like that. And so then you end up taking action for the sake of taking action. And that's distorted feminine and masculine cycle. What I always share with clients is the yin yang creation cycle. And this is where you really bring in aligned feminine energy as the high priestess that you are, and the channel and vessel that you are. You channel your wisdom, your intuition, your knowing, and you allow the next steps to rise up through you. And you just take natural action on what's coming up without the need to know, without the need to figure it out, without the need to perfect it or any of the things. Oftentimes it looks like very messy, imperfect action, which tends to be the most magical, to get you out of your way, out of your comfort zone, out of your procrastination, out of your perfectionism, which is key, out of comparison. You move when you are moved. When you feel the momentum, you move, you take the action. It's a no-brainer. It's based on your intuition. This is when the feminine and masculine are finally no longer distorted cycle. Now they're what we would call aligned or divine feminine and masculine cycle, truly, truly rooted in your divine feminine intuitiveness, the essence of that which you are that is speaking to you, the subtle realm, and the sacred masculine energy, which is what brings it into physical form, right? Which is what grounds it into 3D reality. And to be honest, the last thing that I will wrap on this little divine rant that wanted to come through is the number one thing that I see that a lot of divine feminines are missing, whether this be from their business model when I talk to them, or whether it be from on their healing journey, is that the number one thing that they're missing is not in order to awaken your feminine power, you have to have sacred masculine energy, because it's a sacred masculine energy that creates the space for you to feel safe enough to be in your divine feminine flow. And it's the sacred masculine energy that takes the actions. And so what I see oftentimes is that they're lacking an integrated sacred masculine energy. And of course, it's always tied to a void in the feminine essence, that where they're coming from some form of lack or unworthiness. But yeah, it's both. It's both. But right now, what was coming through is that some of you are at the point where sacred masculine action is the next step, because you're receiving, you have the hits, you have the downloads, you have the guidance. You have to take the sacred action, whatever that is, and you don't need to know how it's going to pan out. And as you do that, it's automatically setting you on a timeline that is in alignment with your dharma and your highest divine blueprint that you contracted to be here for, like your divine purpose. So that is when you're creating momentum of you just showing up like that intentionally, this is aligning you. This is who I'm speaking to right now. Like whatever actions, like whatever sacred action is bubbling up, just take it. Like just move through that imposter syndrome, or move through that fear, or just take the sacred action. It's often in the taking of the sacred action you diffuse any of the fear, and then you are free. You no longer are being restricted by that same fear or hesitancy or procrastination that you were before, because you just broke through it with confidence and with courage. And once you do it once, it's easier to do it again. When I first started going live on YouTube several years ago, I went live. You may be even able to find it. I think it's still up, but I don't think I ever took it down. I went live on a YouTube. I can't believe my first video was a live versus pre-recorded ones. I'm pretty proud of myself there, but that was several years ago. I did well, and it went well. I don't even know if anybody showed up live or not. It didn't matter. But when I was done, I didn't hit record again for a year. So trust me, I know what it's like to fall into the fear and the procrastination or the perfectionism or imposter syndrome. I got out of my shell and recorded a live video, and then I didn't go live again for a year. I didn't start producing content again for a year. And that is because like it was a lot to do that. There was so much fear behind it. There was so much imposter syndrome behind it, or just like uncomfortable, like getting out of your comfort zone. And so I went and did writing and other things like that would keep me out of the spotlight, or out of shining my light, or out of being like fully rejected, or fully seen, or fully heard, and fully authentic, and all the things. I hid from it, even though it was what I was being called to do. Fast forward years later, I've done, oh my God, I don't even know how many live stream series. I did one with our SLA head coach with her name's Vanessa. I did that for over a year. I had a whole live series for my program when it came out called Soul Aligned Success. You can still find that here on YouTube. Like everything that I do centers around creating live in the moment. And I hid from that quite a bit after my first attempt to go. It wasn't an attempt, I actually did it. But, so I can relate. And I can say that it gets easier the more you get out of your comfort zone and just do it, because procrastination and all that stuff is real in the 3D, and it sets in, especially if you are back then still operating from this separate sense of self that needs validation. And so this is key, which I touched on in the other video. Divine confidence, when you're able to, this is also several years later from that first video. So we've shifted as a collective. And if you're listening to this now, like, as you embody your divine presence and essence, and you get to walk in divine confidence, all of that kind of, all of that fear of rejection and everything falls away. You literally become like bulletproof. You don't care anymore what people have to say or what they may be projecting onto you. But at the time, back then, it was very hindering. So, and that's not to say imposter syndrome doesn't come up again. It doesn't. I can't say it comes up the same. It doesn't. What comes up is excitedness in the body, which also could be interpreted as nervousness, however you want to interpret it, like nervousness or excitedness. But that's just like, I mean, I'm excited about things all day, every day. You know what I mean? It's like full body chills and excitement and mixed with nerves and, exhilaration and things like that. The fear of rejection is coming, the fear of rejection or fear of not fitting in or fear of rocking the boat or fear of, is really coming at the root, if you really just want to break it down, is a fear of not being good enough and desperately needing the external validation in order to validate our own worthiness and that we're good enough. And you don't need anybody's permission or approval to be good enough. You don't even need to do anything to be good enough. You're already innately worthy just as you are. This is your divine birthright to fully claim your divine sovereignty in this lifetime, and for you to show up fully embodied in your divinity, which is your most authentic self, which is your most magnetic self, which is the you that is walking, living, and talking and breathing your divine confidence, not from a place of arrogance, not from a place of ego, from a place of true knowing who you truly are at your core, and being able to walk through life as your higher self, fully human, fully divine, simultaneously. You are not separate from God. You are not separate from the creator that created you. All God wants to do is create through you. Stop playing small. Stop thinking small. You are meant for big things. You're meant to share your message and gift with the world. You're meant to impact millions. You're meant to be known globally and worldwide through whatever it is that you're feeling called to share. The world needs your gift, and it's waiting for you to shine your light. So it's the perfect recipe right now. 2025 is the year so much is shifting, and I'm about to do another video on this, but it's going to be a little bit more of a, I'll save that. I'm going to do a video on this, on what's really coming through that's going to be shifting so much in the next 3 to 5 years to come. But 2025 is like is a year that's going to literally go down in history for so many. And for you that's listening to this right now, it's going to be the year that you fully start to live as your true self, fully actualized and embodied in your divinity. So things are opening up, pathways, opportunities, relationships, partnerships, collaborations, all the things that you cannot even fathom and or figure out are going to be opening up, and guiding you on your highest, guiding you to align more with your dharma and your purpose. And it's going to blow your mind, because your mind's not going to be able to figure this out. It's something that's going to blow your mind, and it's going to be connected to that inner knowing that you've known your whole life that you haven't been able to put words to. And that's key. You haven't been able to put words to it. You've just known from an early age you were meant to do big things here. This isn't to instill any kind of pressure or anything. This isn't to, this isn't to make it seem like you got to go out and like hustle hard or figure things out or do anything for this to happen. This is part of your dharma. It's part of your destiny, but you do have to be a co-creative component of it. You do have to be open to taking on the responsibility, and you do have to devote to it intentionally with your heart, a heart-centered devotion. When you do, things start to shift very, very fast. I can say from personal experience that happens very, very fast. So it's okay to trust the knowing. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. I will be here again tomorrow as well. Let me know in the comments if you're still with me. I think the word we'll drop here is global. That's the word. So if you're still with me after a 40-minute video, it means I am speaking with you. You did not hear this on accident. You're not here on accident. You definitely didn't stick around on accident. So if you want to drop the word global, just be aware that when you set the intention that you're accepting this divine mission for yourself and you're taking action on it and you're claiming it by dropping the word global, that you are ready and open to your life shifting and the opportunities coming in that are going to align you with that. And that means things may change and things may shift. So if you've been playing small in any area of your life or giving your power away or hiding and things like that, it's going to be illuminated so you can transmute it and alchemize it so you can get on with living your highest timeline and, being in alignment with the soul contract you had before you came. So when we ask for alignment, when we ask for our dreams, when we ask for that calling on our heart, when we ask for a life that's filled with purpose and meaning and being able to make an impact and help others and live our best life and be free and have fun and have abundance. And we ask for all of these things because we know it's our divine birthright and it feels like the most natural thing. And it feels so uncomfortable to live in discord with your truth. When you ask for these things from a true heart-centered intention, just know that they will. Anything that is not in alignment with those is going to spin out of your experience or be restructured in some way. And you've likely, I know you've already experienced this, that that when a tower moment comes in, and this doesn't have to be quote unquote good or bad, but things that are being restructured, that's a tower moment, right? It doesn't have to be devastating, but it is going to shake things up. It is going to redirect it. Any untruths are going to fall away. And what comes after that in the tarot is the star card, right? So wish fulfillment, right? But first the old has to fall away, the falsehoods and the untruths and the places where you're not in alignment or the places that you're not living your authenticity. And as you do that, you naturally rise and align with your highest timeline, but you have to choose it. I believe that if there is free will and free choice in anything, it is in the choice to be conscious and to choose consciously. There's so much that's being orchestrated. There's so much we actually don't have power over and that we don't have control over. I think if you look at your life, you can see that there's a lot you didn't, or you don't feel you had any control over. There's something beyond. And then there's this element of conscious awareness, conscious choice, where you get to break free from the programming and from the old pattern, from the old conditioning, and actually interject a pattern interrupt with what you're used to, which breaks the chain of all of the conditioning and everything that's come before that. And it's that moment of conscious choice where you get to choose that breaks the old pattern. So much of this life is divinely orchestrated, I believe, and so much of this is destined, and so much of this maybe also has free will and conscious choice involved too. Who knows? It's all there's never just this all or nothing when it comes to life. There's just this mystery. And the magic that I've seen in my life, that I can only speak from my own experience, is in those moments of conscious choice. I'm getting full body chills right now. In the moment when I exercise conscious choice to choose differently, and that's all I had to do, or choose to surrender in faith and know that I am protected and guided, or choose just to surrender it to the highest good of all involved and remove my ego from it. In those conscious moments of choice, major shifts occurred, literally instantaneously. And I will share that on another episode if you like those kind of stories. I love to share those kinds of stories. Let me know in the comments and I can do another, maybe that can be the next episode. But okay, I think I could chat like this forever, but I'm getting hungry, so I'm going to go eat, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Namaste.